Hello and welcome to Module 1 for Homicide Investigation Part 1. This week we're going to be discussing the role of the first responding officer at the scene of a homicide. So, if you can imagine being a rookie police officer, let's say it's your third or fourth night by yourself, you just completed the academy, your 10 weeks of field training, and you're like 3 hours into your midnight tour, nothing really going on. And then you get that heart-thumping call, shots fired, any available unit respond. You get to the house, and you're asking dispatch, well, where are the shots coming from? Well, caller says inside the house. So you proceed into the house. You can smell the gunpowder. Okay, you don't hear any commotion or anything, but you do smell the gunpowder because you remember that from your academy training. You fired your gun plenty of times on the range. So you go in, you round the corner, boom, right there, laying on the ground, is a male, bleeding. So what do? Well, at this point, you have a crime scene, okay? You don't know the details, you just have a crime scene. You have a body on the ground. It's going to be a long night, okay? So what do? First thing, is the scene safe? Where's the suspect? Is there a suspect? Could be a suicide, but is there a suspect? So you need to take precautions. Should you continue searching the residence? At this point, me personally, I'd pull my gun and I'd stay at the low ready and I'd check the victim real quick, make sure there's signs of life. If there's signs of life, start medically treating him while keeping my head on a swivel, making sure I'm not about to get ambushed. Okay? But the first thing is the scene safe? Okay, the second thing, victims. How many victims do I have? Well, I have one on the ground right in front of me. Where's the other victim? Is there another victim? Okay? So let's say in this scenario, this individual's got several bullet holes in him. Okay, he's got some contact bullet holes in his head, throughout his body. Okay, there's blood everywhere. You check for signs of life, no carotid pulse. Okay, body's warm, so you know it's, it probably just occurred. Do a quick sweep of the house. Let's say another officer arrives. You guys do a quick sweep of the house. There's nobody in the house. At this point, no signs of life. You're going to call in the medics. They put them on the monitor. Make sure there's no signs of life. They're going to pronounce death. They'll give you a time of the death. Okay? At that point, you're going to look at everybody in that room because you're the first officer there. And you tell everybody, get out of the house. We're going to back out. Okay? You want to secure that crime scene. But as you're backing out, you want to look around. What do you see? Okay? Let's say in this scenario, you see a cell phone on the counter. You see a knife on the ground next to the victim. As you're backing out, you see a bloody handprint in the hallway. Okay, sweeping mark towards the door. So you're thinking, we got a perp on the loose. Okay, we got an offender on the loose. This is probably a homicide. The guy's not going to get bullet holes with a knife. So you probably have a homicide. Okay, you back out of the house. At this point, everybody starts coming out of their house. They see all the flashing lights. Everybody's coming out. Okay? Not only that, you got other police officers arriving. You got the fire department arriving. You got EMS personnel. You got all sorts of people that want to get in that house. So you, as the first responding officer, secure the house. Stand by that door. Put the other officer at the back of the door. Do not let anybody into that house. You got to preserve the evidence. You got to preserve the scene, the integrity of the scene. Okay? More officers arrive. If you're lucky, like our agency, we usually run 13 to 22 guys a shift. So I got shots fired with somebody down. I got the entire shift there. So at that point, until the supervisor arrives, I'm in charge of that scene. I start delegating. Tell that officer, put some crime scene tape up. Keep everybody back. I tell an officer, hey, start taking pictures of everything. I want pictures of the house. I want pictures of witnesses standing there. Okay? You never know. That information can come in handy. Maybe they get a suspect down the line that says, I was never near the house. But then you got a picture of them standing there behind the tape. Okay? It's important. At this point, supervisor's going to show up. You're going to say, hey, Sarge, Lieutenant, Captain, whomever, this is what I have. I got a guy on the ground. I got blood everywhere. I got a knife next to the body, cell phone on the counter. I got a bloody handprint leading out towards the house, sweeping out towards the door. So I have a crime scene. He's going to ask you, well, they do a pronouncement. Yep, they did the pronouncement. Here's the time. Here's the medic's name. Here's the doctor's name. That's the pronouncement. Here's all this information. Okay? At this point, depending on your sergeant, depending on how much trust he has in you as an investigator, he may say, hey, start interviewing witnesses. Typically, you're going to do a neighborhood canvass. Everyone, all the other officers responding that aren't tied up on scene perimeter are going to do a canvass. Another thing you're going to say is, well, listen, we may have a perp out there on foot. I'd like to have a canine to the scene. Because that's a checkbox. You want to get a canine to the scene and have him or her start a track right from that doorway where you came out. Start doing a track, see if we can find the perp. Another thing you want to start thinking of, surveillance cameras. Any surveillance cameras in the house that you saw, any of the neighbor's house, start looking around. Everybody typically has these. Okay, especially the area I work. We have city cameras, so I start the dispatch, hey, start checking the area. Okay? Start talking to people, start gathering information. At this point, detectives are probably going to show up. You're going to brief them. They're going to have to do a search warrant for the house to go back in anyway. Okay, there's no exigency to go back into that house. At that point, you can slow things down. Get a search warrant. Okay, the guy's already dead. There's nothing you can do for him except preserve the scene, do a search warrant. Okay. First responding officer, typically what you're going to do, you'll do your neighborhood canvass. You will probably take additional photographs of the outside. Detectives are going to take their photographs, their video, all that stuff. But you're going to do that as the initial officer. Interview witnesses, take written statements. I'm very big on that. You want to take a written statement. You want to lock these witnesses into a statement. Then you're going to go back and you're going to start typing. And boy, let me tell you, typical police work, 5 minutes of craziness, 7 days of paperwork. Okay? So you're going to start writing and you're going to prepare a report. And you're going to document everything I just said. And you're going to do it chronologically from when you were dispatched to right up to when you cleared the scene to whoever was assigned to conduct scene security, which typically your sergeant would do, and say, hey, I want this person in charge of, who's going in and out of the crime scene log. Typically your sergeant will assign it, but it's still important to keep in the back of your mind. So with all that said, that's just a quick rundown of how I would handle the situation. As we go through this week, we're gonna talk about it on the discussion board. And if you have any questions about what you viewed in this video, maybe you're scratching your head going, I don't really understand that part. Can we maybe talk about it? Post it in the discussion board. We'll have a discussion about it. I wish you all luck in your first week. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email or post it in the discussion board. I look forward to reading your assignments. Take care.